Owen wipes away the mirror message. Lee comments that they're only 1 week away from her being crowned. Keith tells her it will be him who is crowned. Shadow interjects saying he'll be the one crowned the winner. Owen says and he'll be third place, which causes the queens to laugh.
It's the final day in the workroom, and I think it's clear at this point I'm not going to be taking home the crown. But I can still make the finale, and I am going to be using my energy today to achieve that.
The finale is just around the corner, and Rose Squad has practically dominated the competition. All we have to do is survive this week, and then we're the final 3.
Lee asks the queens who do they think was the most robbed queen of the season. Keith says Lance. Shadow agrees and says Lance. Lee says she thought Akiza was robbed. Owen says he thinks Devin was robbed. Rose Squad share a look, then Lee asks Owen if he's serious. Owen says he is. Keith points out Devin was in the bottom almost every week he was here. Owen says he's allowed to be delusional, which prompts a laugh from the queens.
I honestly felt Akiza had more to give. Her run was cut short sooner than it should have been. Akiza, if you're watching from home, Rose Squad is almost the top 3. We just have to get through Owen.
Obviously, Lance was the most robbed. He has his runway sabotaged the episode he went home, and he gave one of the best lip syncs of the season. He absolutely would have done more if he stayed over Kaito. Hopefully I can win this for him.
Sure, Devin was in the bottom a lot, but he did send Akiza home, and he would have ate the Rose Squad up in last week's design challenge. It's unfortunate he left before he got to show his real talents.
Owen says he's glad they're past the design challenge. Lee tells Owen she's surprised he made it past the Wicked Winter Wonderland. Keith says he's surprised Owen's won 2 lip syncs. Owen tells them never underestimate the big girls. Shadow asks Owen what his favorite challenge was this season. Owen says the one he won. The queens laugh, and Owen asks what Shadow's favorite challenge was. Shadow says the one he won.
Shadow's turnaround is great as his friend. But at the same time, now that he has a win, and since he's never had to lip sync for his life, he's now set to pull a Princess Allura and take the lead. I need to make sure I'm giving my best performance today, or I could wind up missing out on the win.
Lee tells the queens she really has enjoyed having them on this season, but she's honestly ready to win her crown and be done with it. Shadow tells Lee it's not too late to pull a Zoroark. Lee says never.
I refuse to pull a Zoroark. Not when I'm this close to the crown. Right now, I've got the lead with 3 wins, but Shadow and Keith are not far behind me. I need to win this challenge, so my domination of the season is set in stone.
No matter what happens today, a member of Rose Squad is going to have to lip sync. We're all so close to the top. This week is going to determine which of us have a real shot at winning the crown.
Ladies, I can't wait until you see these deals. $5,000 for just signing up for this free subscription. What's the catch? Hello queens, how are my sickening top 4? For today's mini challenge you will be licking stamps. Ready, go. Owen and Shadow the Hedgehog won the mini challenge, and an advantage in the maxi challenge.
Ouch, I got a paper cut on my tongue.
A nice start to our final challenge day. I need to make sure whatever advantage I get from this challenge, to use it towards making sure I win the crown in the end.
Queens, do you know what I have too much of? Junk mail. So instead of throwing it all into recycling, why don't we do something productive with it? That's why for today's maxi challenge, you'll be participating in the mail ball.
Did she say, a ball?
Sure, I was hoping we'd get a ball this season. But what the hell is a mail ball?
The ball will include 3 categories. Cardboard eleganza. An eleganza look inspired by cardboard boxes. Postcard perfect. A postcard themed look inspired by your hometown. And finally, my junk mail. Wait, I mean, envelope couture. A couture look you will make and present on the runway made entirely out of envelopes. Each of you will be provided a box filled with envelopes to use to make your outfit. Shadow and Owen, since you won the mini challenge, you will each receive an extra box of envelopes for you to use. Good luck queens, and don't fuck it up.
Being that I come from a trailer park, this challenge is right up my alley. I've used many odd everyday items to make looks before, Garbage bags, a dead raccoon may found under our trailer, and even envelopes.
Well, since we're using envelopes, maybe that will hinder Lee, Keith, and Shadow enough I can slip through this week.
Owen starts sketching out his look.
Last week I just started sewing without having much of an idea. But I can't afford to mess this up twice. So, I'm going to sketch a look, and see if that helps.
Shadow asks Lee and Keith if they want to work at the same table since it's the final challenge. Lee and Keith agree, and Lee grabs her sewing machine, and moves over to Shadow and Keith's station.
So yes, I'm going to enjoy this last day with Rose Squad. One of us is going to have to lip sync tonight, so I don't want to fight today. I get enough of that with Marie and May, and we're sisters.
I want to enjoy the last day of the competition with Rose Squad. But I have to remember to focus on my look. I don't talk that much anyway, so that should work out for me.
Lee and Shadow are chatting while Keith finishes sketching his look. Keith starts sewing some envelopes together.
Keith is wasting no time. I need to get this sketch done so he doesn't get too far ahead of me.
Shadow starts sewing some envelopes together. Lee says it must be nice having all those extra envelopes. Shadow says he isn't sure if he'll need them because he's got a small figure, but he's not worried about making mistakes because of it.
Are Keith and Shadow rushing? They can start already if they want. They're more likely to make mistakes that way. Mistakes that can clear the path to me getting another win.
Owen is sewing his look when he accidentally rips one of his envelopes.
There's so much pressure to get this right. So, I'm trying to make a base, but the envelopes are real flimsy. They rip very easily, and it's wasting time. Fortunately, I have a second box handy.
What the hell was that?
So suddenly we heard this doorbell. It caught us off guard. But then she came in.
Did you miss me? I'm Julie. For those of you who didn't watch season 2, I was a finalist, but I lost a lip sync for the crown against Blake Belladonna, the winner of the season. Honestly, I was robbed, but I was voted the favorite queen of the season. So I'm glad Blanley has brought me back for a second chance.
The queens gather around Julie. Julie says welcome to the Subterra meet and greet. Keith tells Julie she was amazing on her season. Julie says, yes, she was. Shadow asks Julie what she's doing back here. Julie tells the queens she's coming back to the competition.
Is this bitch serious?
I have 3 wins, but if Julie's coming back, I might not win the crown after all. That bitch is on a whole other level.
This can't be real.
Julie tells them Blanley explained what their challenge is for this week, and before she can get started on her dress. They're going to one at a time show their work to her, and she'll get to critique it.
These queens seem fierce. I can't wait to get to know them.
Owen brings his dress over to Julie's table. Julie asks Owen to explain his look to her. Owen tells Julie he's not much of a designer. Julie admits she's not really a fashion queen either. Owen shows her his dress. Owen says he's struggling to sew the envelopes without accidentally ripping them. Julie looks over his sketch and comments that it's a bit basic. Owen says he doesn't know how to sew, so it's the best he can do. Owen accidentally rips another one of his envelopes. Owen says that he's going to have to start over again. Julie tells Owen he should lean into the ripping. Maybe he could make something with the ripped envelopes, and it would look more intentional. Owen asks if she's sure, and Julie tells him he's only got so much time, so he's gotta decide now on what to do, or he might end up without anything to go out on the runway with.
I might take Julie's advice, but I don't want to abandon my sketch. I think I'll make the base of my look first, then see where I should go from there.
I am worried that Owen's swinging a little too low for the top 4. This is Toon madness. You gotta swing for the fences or go home.
Lee brings over her outfit. Julie looks at the corset decorated with a few envelopes. She asks if this is it. Lee says she's taking her time to do it right. Julie tells her not to take too much time, time is a resource. Julie asks Lee how the competition's been for her. Lee tells her she's currently the frontrunner with 3 wins. Julie congratulates her on being the powerhouse, she can relate. Lee shows Julie her sketch. Julie says her look seems very ambitious. Lee says she knows the material she's working with. Julie tells her that's great but asks her if she has enough time to get it done. Lee asks what she means. Julie tells her, at the pace she's going, she should make sure she prioritizes what's necessary.
I get the vibe Lee can serve it on the runway. She's got the ambition and drive. But she needs to kick it into high gear. Her relaxed confidence can be a double-edged sword at this stage.
Julie's right. I need to put more focus into this. The crown is on the line.
Keith brings his look over to Julie. Julie comments that he's already done so much. Keith says he's got a lot to prove.
Back on Season 1, Princess Allura competed in the ball. There she gave one of the best ball packages ever brought out to any cartoon drag stage, and still lost because she was competing against Marinette Dupain-Cheng. I want to win this challenge, because it would be a big deal to bring the ball home to the Voltron dynasty.
Julie asks Keith what he's about. Keith tells Julie he's from the Voltron dynasty. Julie asks what it's like being in this competition following Princess Allura's legacy. Keith says it's not too difficult since he's in the top 4 and has 2 wins. Julie tells Keith she respects the confidence. Keith hands her his sketch and tells her he did have a goal to win a design challenge. Julie tells him he's confident, but he could stand to think bigger. Keith asks her what she means. Julie tells him he's already got a decent start on the outfit, but his overall concept is very basic. She tells him if he could do this much with just envelopes, he could dare to throw a bigger net. Keith says he'll think about it.
Keith has the skills to put a look together, but I'm not so confident in him designing one. He's gotta think bigger and try to experiment more. If he can do that, this challenge is his to take.
Shadow brings his outfit over to Julie. Julie says it's exciting to meet him. Blaze has told her a lot about him. Shadow asks what she's heard. That you always are packing a gun somewhere on your body. Shadow tells Julie that he couldn't really hide anything from production. Julie says sure, and the two quietly laugh.
I would never sneak a gun onto the set of cartoon drag race Toon Madness. I also don't need to be holding a gun to sleep at night.
Julie asks Shadow how the competition's gone for him. Shadow says he just won his first challenge last week. But he adds he's never even been low all competition. Julie says wow, and comments how hard that is to achieve. Julie says that means he probably has a real shot at the crown if he wins today. Shadow agrees. Julie looks over his sketch and says it looks good. Shadow says he's never really worked with paper and envelopes. Julie says his base and sketch look fine. She pokes the dress, and it falls apart, the envelopes scattering everywhere. Julie says sorry. Shadow is quickly picking up the envelopes. He tells her it's fine.
They weren't supposed to do that. I thought the base had been properly sewn together, but something about the envelopes must have not stuck. I'll have to figure out what, and quickly, otherwise I could end up the one lip-syncing tonight.
Shadow seems particularly talented, but his inexperience with paper is worrying. He needs to get through these issues quickly, or it could spell disaster for him.
Hello Queens. Wait, Julie, what are you doing here?
You told me you were going to bring me back to give me the crown, so here I am.
Oh, right, I just told you that, so you'd come do the walkthrough for me.
Excuse me.
But thank you for the content you've given us to use. I greatly appreciate it. Now, sashay away.
I'll make you regret this, Blanley.
Blanley slaps Julie across the face. The queens gasp, but she slowly turns around.
Validate my parking?
And scene.
Thank you for having me, Blanley.
You're always welcome here at Toon Madness, Julie. Queens, I have to go get ready for the main stage, where you'll be judged tonight by our extra special guest judge, Ilita Stones.
And Queens, I hope you take my advice to heart. Good luck, and don't fuck it up.
It was fun getting to meet Julie. She's such a force of a drag queen.
I appreciated the walkthrough. Julie gave me a lot to think about.
I hope I can get this outfit done before we go out on the runway.
This dress won't finish itself. It's time to get back to work.
Hello, and welcome to the main stage of Cartoon Drag Race Toon Madness. I'm your host, Blanley Stacey Andrews O'Halloran. Please welcome our resident judge, from Inside Out, it's Bill Anderson. Bill, are you ready to have a ball?
Actually, I was hoping we'd get a block instead.
And our extra special guest judge. From pork chop to runner-up, it's Ailita Stones. Ailita, when's the last time you ever sent a letter?
I'm not that old bitch.
This week, our queens were tasked with making a look for the mail ball. Racers, start your engines, and may the best drag artist win. Category is Cardboard Eleganza.
For my cardboard eleganza, I came out in a bodysuit made out of actual boxes.
For my cardboard eleganza, I'm dressed in this ball gown made entirely out of cardboard. I spent a week making this, so I know it's fantastic. The proportions are just right.
For my cardboard eleganza, I'm wearing a corset covered in cardboard pieces. I have a long brown front slit skirt.
For my cardboard eleganza, I come out on the runway in a tassel dress. The tassels are made from tiny strips of cardboard. Allura and I worked on this dress together, cutting up boxes and stitching them together.
Category is Postcard Perfect.
For my postcard perfect runway, I'm wearing a large cardboard postcard. Printed atop the postcard is a picture of the park in Flush Trailer Park, along with my sisters Marie and May. I'm serving total camp.
For my postcard perfect runway, I'm wearing a long drapey coat. Printed on the coat is a picture of my father's property out in the desert. It's a bit rundown, but it's home for me, and the only thing I really have left of him.
For my postcard perfect runway, I'm wearing a long dress. The fabric is made from a print of Camp Wawanakwa.
For my postcard perfect runway, I'm shrouded in a dark cloak, and when I get to the judges, I throw open my cloak to reveal the words, "Welcome to the Ark." I'm wearing a gray dress. My skirt is wide and knee-high, resembling that of the space colony Ark. And I have LED lights sewn into the inside of my cloak, like stars in the sky.
Category is Envelope Couture. Keith had a great runway.
For my envelope couture look, I made a spiral skirt out of envelopes. The skirt spirals out away from my body. There's gaps to where you can see my legs. I look like I'm being swarmed by a stream of mail.
Shadow the Hedgehog and Lee Kanker had a good runway.
For my envelope couture look, I made a mini dress. I used the envelopes to create puffy sleeves, and I made an origami flower that I'm wearing in my wig. I'm glad I listened to Julie, because I greatly overestimated the amount of time I had.
For my envelope couture look, I managed to figure out my issue with the envelopes soon enough to make a basic front slid dress. The dress is floor length, and I'm hoping it'll be enough to secure my spot in the finale.
Owen had a bad runway.
So, I made it to the base of the outfit, then I ran out of time. So I had to throw on a basic skirt, otherwise, I'd be walking the runway half naked.
Thank you, queens. I just want to thank the four of you for an amazing season. I'd love to have all four of you in the finale, but only 3 seats are available. With that said, let's begin the judges' critiques. Starting with Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow, I just want to say you've been a real joy to have on this season. I think you've brought so much personality, and I just want to say you had my favorite postcard perfect runway.
I love what you did with the reveal of the Ark. Unfortunately, I didn't really feel the same about your cardboard eleganza. When it came to that, the cardboard was only really incorporated into the corset and nothing more.
I also thought your envelope couture was basic for a design runway. I think at this stage, a front slit dress isn't enough to cut it for the win. No matter how much charisma you sell it with.
Shadow, I know you're a fierce queen. Keep your head up high. Keith.
I met you back at the Season 1 watch party. Princess Allura would be glad to hear you've made it this far in the race.
Keith, tonight, you were a clear standout. In my opinion, you had the best cardboard eleganza. And I appreciate this contemporary spiral pattern you did with your envelope couture. It was unexpected. It was my favorite runway of the category. The construction and uniqueness left an impression.
I also thought your postcard jacket was a creative choice. Was it the best of the category? No, but I liked it. I think this was a great night for you.
Lee Kanker.
Much like with Shadow, I found your envelope couture basic, which is honestly disappointing since the two of you did so well last week. I did think the origami flower was a nice touch, but not enough to elevate the entire look.
I will say I thought you looked good in that cardboard ball gown. I like how you leaned into the texture and made it so geometrical.
And I love the camp of you coming out as an actual postcard. I think you did the category justice. Lee, there were some missteps tonight, but nothing I think detracts from everything you have brought to this season. Owen. Owen, your cardboard eleganza lacked elegance. You just came out in a bodysuit covered in pieces of cardboard. Your envelope couture was underdeveloped. I noticed you only had the top half of the outfit, and you just wore a basic skirt the bottom half. I found that especially disappointing. What were you doing with the time you had?
I couldn't get the envelopes to work. They kept ripping in my hands as I was trying to sew them together. I kept having to restart because of it.
I will say you at least had a decent, not spectacular, but decent postcard perfect runway. Camp Wawanakwa is a big part of your career, and it made sense for you to represent it here.
But overall, I think this was a lackluster ball package. It's reminding me of Marie Kanker's runway package from season 1. Trash.
Owen, I beg you, take a sewing class. Read a fashion magazine, just something other than this. I've made some decisions. Keith, tonight, your envelope couture took the judges by storm. Congratulations, you are the winner of this week's challenge. And you will be moving on to the finale.
I've made the finale. I've closed the gap on Lee's 3 wins. I have a real chance of taking this crown. Could you imagine that? The Voltron Dynasty with 2 winners. We could be what the Pokemon Queens are to Toon Town.
Owen, tonight, you forgot to put a stamp on that letter. I'm sorry, my dear, but you are up for elimination.
Darn, I really tried my best. It's not my fault Blanley decided to end the season on 2 design challenges.
All I'm thinking is, please Blanley, I've done so much work. Keep me out of the bottom, and you won't regret it.
I've worked too hard to pull a Zoroark now. Please Blanley, see that I am more than just one dress.
Shadow the Hedgehog, all season you've been on the judges' minds. But tonight, your outfit was read by the judges for being too basic. Lee Kanker, you've been a force all competition. But tonight, your envelope couture fell flat. Lee Kanker, you are safe. Good job this week. You are moving on to the finale.
I did it. I made the finale, and I'm still the frontrunner. I've dominated this entire season, and it would have been a shame. An utter travesty if I lost my lead here. Keith may have caught up to me on wins, but like Blanley said, I am a force to be reckoned with, and I am going to make sure that crown goes home with me.
As happy as I am Lee made it through. It would have been better for me for her to have pulled a Zoroark. It's going to be a battle heading into that finale. And she better be ready, because I'm ready to put up a fight.
That means, Shadow the Hedgehog. Owen, I'm sorry my dears, but you are up for elimination.
Well, I guess I expected to be lip-syncing when it was announced we were having a ball.
2 queens stand before me. Ladies, this is your last chance to impress me and save yourselves from elimination. Good luck. And don't fuck it up.
Well, for the first time this entire season, Shadow the Hedgehog has fallen into the bottom. But I'm not giving up, not when I'm this close. Owen better be ready, because I'm going to tap dance on his ass if I have to stay.
The lip sync song is I Hear You Knocking by Winona Judd. Shadow had a good lip sync. Owen had a bad lip sync. I've made my decision. Shadow the Hedgehog. Shantae, you stay. Owen, sashay away.
This didn't happen on the island.
But now, I want to hear from the fans. Who are you rooting for? Are you Team Keith, Team Lee, or Team Shadow? Tell us in the comments below. And check the description to vote for the Season 3 awards. Back in Untucked. The Queens cheer to being the top 3. Shadow says it's a Rose Squad victory. Lee says good, she can stop being nice to them now. Shadow and Keith laugh. Lee says you think I'm joking, but I'm already planning to cut up all your wigs. Keith says okay Flygon, and the Queens laugh. A TV is rolled into Untucked. On the TV is Rouge the Bat. Shadow says here it comes. Rouge says Shadow you asshole, you got to a finale before me. Shadow laughs, and Rouge says he better be bringing home that crown, she needs new jewels for her collection. Shadow says she'll keep her hands off his things. The TV switches to Princess Allura and Shiro. Keith starts crying. Shiro tells him he knows Keith has this, and that he's proud of him. Princess Allura tells Keith he's a fierce queen, and to give them hell if that's what it takes to win. The TV switches to Marie and May Canker. Marie says Lee better not have been dragging them all season. Lee says they should just shut up and get over it. May tells Lee she better not win the crown before her. Marie laughs, and tells Lee to ignore her, and give them the true Canker treatment. Destroying everything in your path to get that crown. Lee cheers, and the TV switches off. Lee says may the best Rose win, aka me. The Queens laugh and drink their cocktails.